this is a subject I so appreciate y'all just talking about this, because I think a lot of couples go through this, but don't have the courage to give it space.
Give it legs.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah. That's what we call. We call it
Give it
give it.
legs. Yeah.
We give it legs. The moment you don't, just from this little snippet here, the moment things in that talked about, and you don't give it breathe, you don't give it life, you don't give it legs, it stays there. It stays in your mind. It never can get resolved. It just stays right there. It'll always live right there, unspoken, and forever will just tarnish a relationship.
First of all, living in shame and living in guilt gets you nowhere fast,
Mm.
right? There are so many closeted people about the shameful things that happen in their life that if we all just became a little transparent,
Mm.
we could carry each other so much further. The one quality and lack of quality that Donnie loves and hates is that when it comes down to my life, my story, I am so transparent about it. Because if I am not transparent, that means that I'm not even okay with what God did in my life.
Mm.
Mm.
Right. And that's a big thing for me because I didn't have to be here like this. I
Right.
didn't have to change. I didn't have to have the ability to look at myself in the mirror and say, you know what, she's good. I didn't have to have that. I could have been on the side of the road, drugged out, messed up. What it could have been a lot of stuff that could go on in the middle of foolishness, right?
Yeah.
And so if I choose to act like I never been through anything,
Mm.
that means I remove the ability of what God did in my life. That
Mm.
means that I don't give him the opportunity
That's
to
right.
be looked at and understood that he did something for me.
That's right.
That's just like, when you give somebody something, they sit around here and they act so ungrateful for that.
Yeah.
That's the same thing. That is the same literal gift in a tangible way.
Right.
And so I would be negligent at best,
Yeah.
to sit here and act like he didn't do something miraculous. I'll use that word
Come
in
on.
my life, in my marriage, because there's plenty of people who did not have the opportunity to have what I have.
Right.
It's simple. So for me, I don't care if you know about what I did. I could care less. I'll tell it to you with a straight face and feel nothing about it because the only reason to feel shame now is if I was still currently the same person.
Correct.
Mm.
Correct.
Feel something different. And that's strength. You imagine when you go into the gym and you feel so good because you don't figured out how to be able to get gains and cuts and stuff like that. That took a lot of work. That took a lot of effort. You're never gonna dumb that or dial that back and say, "Nah, I ain't going to the gym." No, you're gonna tell people the story. I was this big, and you're gonna tell people that story because you're proud of that, right?
Right.
You're
Right.
proud of that change that you made in your life. So why wouldn't you do that with other things? It just takes a step. That's it. So people who are out there and they're ashamed of that, sometimes if you just step out of the clothing called shame and just step out of that clothing and put on a new clothing to say, okay, how do we get through this? Then it makes shame so much of a lesser weight and getting through it so much more of a bigger weight.
Come on, bars.